The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh, got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throb in my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too evil and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
Your podcast coming to you Tuesday, October 8th, 2024. How you guys doing? I feel like there's a mosquito somewhere in this fucking studio because I'm getting bitten up all of a sudden out of nowhere. I don't know what's going on here. I know the weather's been kind of rough the last couple of days. It's been raining like crazy here in South Florida, as we are actually preparing for Hurricane Milton. Now, the good news for us here in this section where I'm at is that the storm, currently the cone of possibilities, they call it on the Weather Channel or on these other stations, is that we are not in the cone. Like, we are probably edged out by very little. I think the furthest southeast it could go based on the trajectory is Jupiter, and we're south of that. But it doesn't mean won't get weather. So we're still preparing here for the hurricane, which could affect the schedule of the podcast this week. So first things first, we'll be up doing this podcast. I mean, and you guys see it already as is, but we're sticking to a Tuesday and Thursday schedule. Or not, we have single episode with one guest, whatever it may be. But we're sticking to a Tuesday and a Thursday schedule. That doesn't mean we won't have like little other stuff around those days. But for the most part, going forward, the podcast schedule will be a Tuesday and a Thursday show. You'll get episodes come on Tuesday afternoons, and you'll get episode comes out on Thursday afternoons as well too. Sometimes morning, depends on what guests I have coming in, because sometimes I have guests I do on Wednesday nights and then Thursday mornings. It depends on how it works out. But Tuesday and Thursdays going forward will be the strict schedule for this podcast moving forward. Like I said, that doesn't mean we won't do a Sunday pod once in a blue moon. It doesn't mean we'll do a random Thursday, a Friday, or a Wednesday, or Monday, depending how if breaking news happens or something comes up. But for the most part, we're gonna be sticking to a Tuesday and Thursday schedule moving forward. As is. Although this week could be affected, like I said, because of the hurricane threatening here in Florida. By the way, shout out to all my friends and family out in the West Coast who are going to be impacted by the storm. My best friends out there. I got my a couple of friends out up in on the West Coast. Some of them up north in Gainesville and Ocala. Want to shout them out as well too. I love you guys. Stay safe, please. Stay safe. If you got to evacuate. This thing looks like it's going to be a mess. It looks like it's going to be an absolute mess. I have gone through my fair share of mass hurricanes through my life. Most notably Hurricane Andrew in 1992. Living in Miami at the time, living in Kendall, and God spared us. Obviously, us not just life, but also with no damage in our home, but around us was a disaster. So I've had my fair share of hurricanes. 2004. Remember, we had the two back-to-backs in 2 weeks. The Hurricane Francis and Gina hit here in West Palm Beach, and then I think it was like 2005. Also, had another one too. I think was it not Irma? What was it? Another hurricane. I can't remember what it was exactly, but I've had my fair share of hurricanes through my lifetime. I'm over it personally. I think more than anything else for me, going through hurricanes with newborns and with children is no fun, and luckily I've never had to go through that yet. We had one that hit here back in 2017. Hurricane was it Matthew? I can't remember what the name was exactly. It doesn't matter. Whatever name it was. God, there's a mosquito somewhere here in the studio. I swear to God, it's fucking biting the shit out of me. Anyway, fucking crazy, man. Anyway, and we evacuated as a result of that storm to North Carolina to stay with my cousin. At the time, my boys were 4 and 8 months. No, younger. Eli was 4 years old. Logan was April, May, June, July, August. 6 months at the time. And I was not trying to go through a hurricane that was at the time looked devastating. Now it did hit here, but it actually ended up moving a little more to the west. So the impact here where I live at was less than what it was. So again, my thoughts and prayers to all my friends and family out there on the West Coast trying to try to avoid this thing. Like I said, if you got to evacuate now because this thing's landing, I think, on Thursday, hitting on Thursday morning or Wednesday night. Like I said, we'll get weather here in this section, most likely. How bad it gets, we'll see. That's why I believe the schedule of the show may be affected by that. We'll see. Because I typically do my info best bets with Zach Degenerate we record at Wednesday nights, and I had planned to do other little stuff there, segments there, and then put it out Thursday morning. But we'll see how that plays out. Who knows? We may get some stormy weather here to a point when we lose power. Who knows? I don't know. But in the meantime, we'll do what we can to make it work, obviously. But like I said, the new schedule, I didn't say new schedule, the schedule will be going forward will be a Tuesday and Thursday schedule for the podcast as is. Now, we got breaking news actually about half an hour ago. I was out, a little inside baseball. I was out with my wife. And by the way, we're going to bring in Kyle Nash, of course, our weekly student game report coming in right after the segment in a couple minutes. But I was out with my lovely wife, Lauren. God love you to death, by the way, baby. And we were driving back home because she had to go to work. And we had breakfast or whatever on the way home to our favorite deli. And we got breaking news that Robert Saleh, head coach of the New York Jets, has been fired. Now, I joked around, of course, that Robert Saleh, has been fired by Aaron Rodgers, not by the Jets, because we know Aaron Rodgers. Look, they speculate who's blamed for this. There is no doubt in my mind, and we'll talk to Kyle about this on the back end in a second. There's no doubt in my mind that Aaron Rodgers has something to do with this, because you can see the optics for the first 4 or 5 weeks. There was something not working there. There was some friction there between Saleh and Rodgers, and the fact that they will sit there and go out of the way and say, "Oh, everything's fine," it's bullshit. It's all quick bullshit. Robert Saleh, of course, this is I think his 4th year with the Jets, I believe. I'm trying to figure out who the hell they have an interim. They just announced for the job. Let me see if I can find the interim's name. I don't. Jeff something. Is it Jeff Ulrich or something like that? I saw. I'm trying to find the name here. I don't see it. Doesn't matter. Because Aaron Rodgers is the coach, right? He's head coach. He's head coach of the team. He's the judge jurisdiction of the New York Jets. And again, 2-3 record to start. They got a big game against the Buffalo Bills next week on Monday Night Football, which could, obviously has a massive part how the rest of the division will be played going forward. I think Rodgers. We'll talk about this in a couple minutes, but I think Rodgers had a lot to do with that. With that move being made. I wouldn't be surprised also too if this is also a sign of things to come too. Also with the Jets, with now Devontae Adams, of course, asking for a trade, and the Jets being one of the teams that he prefers to go to, and obviously Aaron Rodgers having history with Devontae Adams in Green Bay. This could be the first sign of like maybe things to come with the Jets making a move to get Devontae Adams. Because I already said, go all in. Go all in. You already have this team as is. Aaron Rodgers is taking shit on your cap. You got maybe a 2-year window at this. If Rodgers commits, you go all in at this point. They need help on offense. They've looked very pedestrian on offense for the first 5 weeks of the year. I thought 2 weeks ago when they beat the Patriots in Thursday football that this was the start of things to come, and maybe they would turn things around. But since then, you lose to the Broncos at home, and then you lose to the Vikings on the road in London. Bad optics, man. There's really bad optics so far surrounding this team, and obviously, look, I don't know if Saleh deserves be fired or not, but when you go into the Aaron Rodgers business, this is what comes with it, right? So we'll talk more about Kyle about that in detail in the next couple minutes. With that, now you see me on video, of course, on my YouTube page at youtube.com/Earnest Christian. My New York Mets jersey, it's actually my old Check of the Ground jersey though from like 2015-16. It actually still fits me, which is great. I've lost a lot of weight in the last couple of years. So crazy postseason for the Mets right now. We should be up 2-0 in that Phillies series in LDS. But it is what it is. Phillies are a great team. I mean, y'all know I can't stand the Phillies, but I also am an idiot. I picked them in 4 to win this series. But they should have won game 2. They should have won game 2. 3-0 that's in that game. You get two home runs to, Bryce Harper and the other dude. I can't find his name. I can't think right now, Brent. But yeah, they should be up 2-0 right now. This Jets team is very resilient. The Mets. I can't see the Jets. This Mets team is very resilient. And I feel bad quitting on them back in April, but you guys know why I did that. The Mets historically, when they fold, they fold. And I told you all my philosophy of the New York Mets. If by June they're out of it, I'm done. I'll treat it like a TV show. I'll see y'all next in spring training in February, March. But it's been a crazy postseason in general, not just for the Mets, because every series right now, every divisional series right now, across the board, all tied 1 apiece. So we're looking at a very historical right now on pace to see a very historical playoffs here. Tigers, Guardians got 1 apiece. Yankees, Royals 1 apiece. Padres and Dodgers 1 apiece. The Mets series has been fantastic. It might go 5 games. Look, I always shit on the Phillies and their fans all the time, but I'll give them this. That dude, that team, it's a bunch of ballers. And I've already said on record that this is my World Series. If the Mets win this series, they can do whatever they want. They could lose in NLCS, losing the World Series, I'd be okay with it. You beat the Phillies, this Phillies team that's supposed to, at the very least, get to the World Series this year. Or certainly one of the favorites to go to the World Series this year. Them and the Dodgers. You ruined their season, their biggest rival. That's my season from there. That's my World Series. So I think game 3 is tonight. So I'm repping my boys here tonight with my Mets jersey. Let's go Mets. And that's that. But like I said, the entire playoffs been phenomenal. I'm locked in. I mean, man, we don't talk baseball much on this podcast other than like we did the preview, and then we did recently last week did the bracket challenge. Myself and Mikey B, the bracket challenge on here. But playoff baseball, man, is so much fun. It's so dramatic. I would argue it's the most dramatic of the 4 major sports. And I would argue it's almost probably the best when you talk about the whole stage setting of it all. Like playoff baseball is nothing like it. I've always said baseball, why not my favorite sport, was my first love. My first sport the first team I rooted for was the Mets. The first sport I got to was baseball. And we've gone through it all. While I'm still a basketball honk, the difference between the 2 sports, in my opinion, is that baseball still has the theater that basketball lacks today. The NBA lacks today. So you got to give them that. So, one more thing before we start bringing Kyle here, I want to talk about my boys here, Cam'Ron and Mase. Because I love to talk about sports podcasts on this show. And, there's no question, like, I listen to a lot of media. I take a lot of media, sports, politics, culture, doesn't matter. But Cam'Ron and Mase, It Is What It Is podcast, was on the Come and Talk to Me network, which I think Cam'Ron runs, I believe. To me, might be the best show going right now. Certainly for me, anyway. And I love the fact that show, in the era now where media is consumed different ways, in the era where it's no longer a paywall to just the corporate and the mainstream media and ESPN and all that stuff. Anybody could do a show now, and people who are interesting and have good takes and good analysis and just being funny and interesting. I'm into that. I still watch First Take once in a while. I still watch First Things First. I love very much. I still watch some of the the legacy ESPN shows. I love PTI still, but it is what it is with Cam'Ron and Mase. Now, if you guys know who Cam'Ron and Mase is, the 2 hip hop artists from the late 90s or 2000s, legacy guys in their late 40s. They started this show last year, and they got a lot of pub really early. But I've been really enjoying their content for a while now, and to the point now where I actually, to me, now they're recording 5 days a week now, and I'm at a point now where I'm watching them every day and not just in clips. I'm watching them the full episodes and an hour episodes because they're so much fun. They're so authentic. They have great guests. Like they have Michael Irvin on there twice a week. And Michael Irvin is phenomenal on the medium. Michael Irvin while I hate the Hurricanes and I hate the Cowboys, he's probably the greatest advocate for that school and that team in history of those squads. They have great guests on there. They even had the balls bring on O.J. Simpson last year before he passed away. Do his weekly analysis. They didn't give a fuck. They didn't care. They just laid into it. They don't give a damn. And I it was this morning. I listened to the episode this morning. And there's a clip. I don't think I saw this that happened during the game, Raiders and Broncos game, where Bo Nix and Sean Payton seemingly got into it. Now the Broncos won that game anyway, and won the game running away. But there was a clip of where they were getting into it, where they got into it, where Sean Payton and Bo Nix were kind of clash heads. So the reason I bring this up is because Cam'Ron and Mase's commentary on this was hysterical. And so much I got to play a clip for you. Here's how they compared Sean Payton, and by the way, they bring up Sean Payton last year with Russell Wilson, and when he coached the Broncos last year with Russell Wilson quarterback, and this the authenticity of what they were saying. It's just hysterical. Here's the clip. We'll play real quick.
He says some slick shit to Bo Nix. I don't know the verbiage. I couldn't hear, but Bo Nix wasn't having it. Fuck is you talking to, man? Nah, nigga, just ran about running away. Fuck is you talking, nigga? Calm the fuck down. You went and barked. If you go look at video, this nigga was barking on Russell Wilson last year. Russell Wilson just standing like this.
Yeah, you can't talk to white boys like that. That's how I look at it. Like, when the cops pull a black guy over,
that's a good one.
Versus when they pull a white boy. Why did you pull me over? I was going somewhere.
That's a good one. I like that. I like that. That's a great point of view. Black nigga still got two hands on the steering wheel when he's pulled over.
Can I get my ID?
Permission. That's a great one, man. I like that. I like that one a lot.
That's funny as hell. That's great. Anyway, so that's the kind of stuff they put out there. Just keep it real. They play well with each other because Mase is very laid back. He says his thing. He says his takes, whatever. He's laid back. Whereas Cam'Ron's a little more of the aggressive one in a sense, though. He keeps it hood, but he's also very well spoken. Very well spoken. Exactly what he's saying. But he keeps it authentic to who he is. He keeps it hood. I love it. So yeah, this is my favorite show going now, man. And I mean, I remember last year when I heard about the show, initially it got a lot of it went viral, a lot of viral attention. I remember saying, this is great. This is pretty good. But in recent weeks, I've been really diving into the show again, heavily, to the point where listen to them and watch them every day. And I know they got offers also to go mainstream, and they've turned things down. Cam'ron's turned them down because, and I'm glad. And to be honest, I'm kind of glad about that because I'm sick of these mainstream shows that take these like for example, Pat McAfee. And granted, Pat McAfee they still keep it authentic to the art for the most part, but because on ESPN they have to tone down the cussing and tone down the rhetoric a little bit, and I hate that. I kind of hate that. I wish shows could be what they are, and and again, I know when you go mainstream and you go, you have to obviously dumb it down a little bit because for people who you may offend kids or offend this and that, and I get all that. This show is kind of like what Pat McAfee is in a sense, but McAfee for the most part has still kept it for the most part authentic. It's still a little bit of ESPN layer over it, but they've kept it. They still keep it. They still, I think, the last 2 hours, I think they do. They allow to cuss. They allow to cuss and be over. Be a little more bonkers about it. But they've turned down offers because they want to. I think it's because they want to keep it authentic to who it is. They don't want outside money influencing their content, and I love that. I love the principles of that. So yeah, this is my first show going right now, man. I love Cam'Ron and Mase, man. They are must see TV every morning, and they drop their pod early in the morning, like 7, 8 in the morning. So I'm up in the morning, exercising, walking, and they're in my ears immediately. So anyway. It is time for this weekly Studio Game Report as we bring in now Kyle Nash to discuss the NFL at large. All right, Studio Game Report with the man, Kyle Nash.
No, hold on. We didn't do the.
Oh my God, you that goddamn kazoo, man. Seriously.
Hey, you'd be in real trouble if I can remember. I'm a giant in New York. Everybody carry heed. Okay. Anyways,
I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carrying heat.
Whatever. That's the point.
Get the.
That's the joke.
That's the joke. I'm just gonna rap one day. I'm gonna rap one day. Seriously. Anyway, before we get started,
joking aside, I would try it, and it'd either be surprising or comedy. Either way, I am down. Let's do it.
Yeah. So on top of my show, I was saying that I had this mosquito somewhere in my studio, and because I love my legs and my face, because I wear cocoa butter on my body all the time. I like to be moist.
Isn't
huh?
Isn't that what you're supposed to do? You're not supposed to be ashy. I know that.
No, I agree. But the problem is, though, mosquitoes attract that kind of shit, though.
Oh, cocoa butter, yeah.
So they love it's the sweet smell, Always smell good.
You are smell good. Sexy, sweet smelling, split tooth bitch. That's
right. Anyway, before we get started, are you preparing for the hurricane?
Preparing. If you're still in the ing portion at this point, you're doing it wrong, Humpy Bumpies. And that was for you.
I know. I appreciate that.
With Helene having passed through recently the way that it did, we were already prepared and we just carried into that. All I had to do was refill the propane tank. So
okay, this storm looks massive. It looks like a bad one. Cat 5, still Cat 5, weakened a little bit though, but from where we're at, I'll say on top of the show, we're outside the cone, but barely outside the cone. We're gonna get some weather here, of course, obviously. So we're not sure if work will be closed on Wednesday or Thursday or whatever. It's a lot, but I'm worried about you guys, of course. Our panelist Sean had evacuated already.
Yeah.
He's in Tampa. Which is supposed to where the direct hit is supposed to happen in Tampa. My best friend Alex up in Fort Myers, so I've lost my mind right now about this storm.
Drew Glukov, former student of the game, panelist and writer for Last Word on Sports, where through the magic of technology on Wednesday, if you listen to the pre-recorded drop of the student of the game, he's in Bradenton, so he's in the middle of it. But make sure, by the way, in honor of Drew, he doesn't want that fake bell. He wants the voice action. Make sure you check that out, though. Student of the game with Drew Glukov this week. Anyways,
I like it both, man. I think both are great. That new bell. Is it? You have the bell here today?
Do I have the bell here today? Of course, I have the bell here today. What you? And this is the part where I mentioned, hey, we'll probably be on Huddle Up podcast tonight. There you go.
All right.
Live pre-recording as well will also be on Wednesday night, 7:30 Eastern.
All right. So we had a docket set to go for topics, and then
it got longer.
So I'm out. I was saying top of the show. I was out with my wife having breakfast. Went to Alfredo Deli because she works a long day today.
There's a joke somewhere in here about your wife's persuasion and the fact that she works at a deli. I'm just saying.
No, she doesn't work at a deli.
Oh, that's
at a deli. We were at a deli.
I didn't mean work at it. I misspoke. I meant that you ate at a deli. My bad.
We're in a deli that's we're easily youngest couple there because everybody else is over 60.
Yo, listen,
I love it. I love it.
Those persuasion, don't F around though, kid. If you like the particular kind of food, like the Bagel King here by me, kind of has that feel.
Yeah, same type of thing. So Bagels and is the name of the place we went to. And we were leaving to go to the car because you dropped me off here so I can go to work. And then while we're driving the car, text comes through. Robert Saleh, 500 Jets. What I said, Robert Saleh, 5 by Aaron Rodgers.
Correct. I mean, and listen, what more? You're going to ask me the question, and what more do I have to add but that? People, I never got the Robert Saleh is a bad coach narrative. Mm-hmm. Y'all fools do remember when he got there, how he was handcuffed to Zach Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody let Tim Boyle on a roster. Look up his stats sometime with his time as the quarterback at UConn. Mm-hmm. And I personally got to see him get trounced by Mackenzie Milton and DJ Mack as at the time of the member of Blue HQ. But of course, this is involving UCF, who I've covered with the black and gold banneret. By the way, the Swamp is a fantastic venue. Say what you will about the Gators. Their stadium's amazing.
Were you there?
I was there in Gainesville. Yeah.
Very cool
coverage. Yeah.
First time being there?
Uh-huh. Well, first time being there as press. The last time I was there was a member of the Marching Knights in 99. Anyways,
God, you're old.
Eat a dick.
But I'm well, we're the same age. Well, you're what, a year old? No, 10 months older than me.
And I can still dunk on your stupid ball.
Well, you're 7'5". Of course you can dunk on me. You're impressed by that?
Here come the excuses. Yeah, you can get dunked on by a fat, large old man.
Well, again, you're 7'5". Well, tall.
I'm not Wimbenyama.
You're 6'6", though. What? Wait, 6'6"?
5.
6'5". Okay, I'm 5'8". Come on, what are we doing here?
You're apparently talking shit. That's what I.
Anyway, so
I can be on your show, Earnest Christian. I've never told the host of their own show on their own show to eat a dick. That's new.
But okay, you eat a dick too, also, buddy.
Oh, great one. How can you tell me that when you're the one that watches Peacock all the time for wrestling? Anyway,
this is true. This is true. By the way, before we go back to Saleh, you watch that Vince documentary on Netflix. It's really good.
Yeah, no, it's on the list. It's definitely in Captain America mode. I am curious.
But continue. Robert Saleh.
But yeah, I never got the Robert Saleh as a bad coach narrative. I thought it was dumb. I thought that nursing the team to playoff competitiveness with Zach Wilson failing the way he did, and now he's getting blamed for Aaron Charles Rodgers' shortcomings. Meanwhile, all we got to do is look in Green Bay and watch Matt LaFleur cook, winning games with Music City freaking Malik Willis, by the way, former Liberty quarterback who I covered twice at the Cure Bowl with the 3-point conversion. So I don't, you know what? Good luck with that. He gonna get a job before next season. He will be working somewhere. He may not be a head coach, but he's going to have a job, and it's going to be okay. And he'll be in a better place for it. Who knows? Maybe he'll end up somewhere where he ends up getting a ring.
Yeah, it's still a record as Jets coach, 14-34. Obviously no postseason appearances yet. This is not a shock. It's a shock that happened this soon. I thought they'd give it at least a couple of weeks.
The midseason thing proves to me that it was Aaron Charles Rodgers that fired him.
Yeah, absolutely. And he saw some of the optics too, also with that, like on the sidelines. Sometimes perception is real in reality, and I think in that situation it was.
For that Aaron Rodgers is an asshole.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say that, but like that. I mean, I don't know whether that's true of Aaron Rodgers or not. I've obviously not met him, but the optics I've seen is that
he's hard to work. He's hard to work with.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this then, because I actually had this as a question lined up for us today on the going forward. The panic meter for the Jets going forward in general. The 2-3. They play the Bills on Monday Night Football, which is now even a bigger. Now with the Bills losing on Sunday, even a bigger game now because the AFC East up for grabs, in my opinion.
Yep.
Dolphins, got the second win of the year against New England, obviously.
When you say the AFC East is up for grabs, I don't think that's necessarily true, but keep going.
No, the Jets panic meter right now. And obviously, now we're saying this post-firing. So I guess the meter was at a 10 if you're going to fire the coach this soon.
Yeah.
But where would you put it now? Like, in terms of, like, their future? Like, because Rodgers, if this thing blows up this year, because they can obviously
have them making the playoffs anyway.
Right,
Christian. So obviously, if they're firing their coach in the middle of the year, that a 10, bleep a 10, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if that nothing I say or feel matters with the empirical evidence that you let Aaron Rodgers fire Robert Saleh.
Yeah,
point blank.
Yeah, it's I want to say a sad situation, but it was always volatile when it would go. Just these 2 years, a year and a half, when to call it. It's been volatile. I mean, Rodgers lasting 5 plays last year,
Well, actually, I think that prevented the volatility, right? When the guy's hurt, he can't get in the way.
Yeah. But I'm shocked it happened this soon. Honestly, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but
yeah, absolutely.
I'm always of the opinion that unless things are really bad in house, the coach at least have a chance to finish the job first before he. But this is obviously Aaron Rodgers is getting full blame for this, and I don't think he cares. Aaron Rodgers made his heel turn years ago, so I don't think he gives a fuck what people think.
I'll agree with that. That's a fine take with the heel turn.
Yeah, without question. All right, another team struggling right now under expectation is the Cincinnati Bengals. 1-4.
Yeah. No, it's getting real, isn't it? Especially now that they could officially claim to be swept by the Ravens. I hope you checked in on our friend Mikey the Burn.
He's alive.
Burn, yeah.
We'll see him tonight.
Well, yeah, for now, exactly. Make sure he gets lots of big hugs. 1-4, not great, Bob.
My happy birthday to him, by the way. He just had
yes, also definitely shouts to Mikey the Burn. By the way, especially when Lamar Demetrius Jackson executes what might be the single best touchdown pass of the year.
The one to the sideline, going to the sideline and
tossing it. The one going to the sideline.
Well, wait, Kyle. I thought he couldn't throw the ball. I thought he was not good throwing the ball. He's a running back.
Folks, that's him being ironic. Don't believe him.
Yeah,
he doesn't actually mean it.
Yeah, just in case. But I gotta tell you though, even at 1-4, I don't think they're out of it yet.
Oh no! Listen, you and I have both seen the movie Dumb and Dumber. I am more than happy to just go. So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah,
because their issue is one-sided. Their issue is a one-sided issue. That's it.
But at this point, what can they do to fix the defense is the actual question.
Right.
And with Joey Burr being in whatever state of ill repair his body is, does he have what it would take to carry them throughout an entire season? That's a tall ask. Being said, I'm not here to tell you it's impossible either. They just listen. This is was another season where they had a calamity to start the season and find themselves having to dig their way out of it, long and the short. And they keep doing to this. Well, I should say this keeps happening to them is how I should actually word it. Excuse me.
So I still think in it, even though they were 1-4 and we're quarter way into the year. But the best way to look at it is assess the Bengals is to see the schedule. So let's freeze from the next 4 weeks of the Bengals because they got to win games now. Okay, next week Sunday Night Football, the Giants. That should be a win.
Yeah,
Giants kind of frisky, but that should be a win for the Bengals. The Browns,
it should be, but that's tricky because that's divisional physics, right?
Right, and not only divisional physics, the Browns historically in the Burrow era does give the Bengals issues.
Yes, it's they call it Browner head. I don't know. I'm trying to make,
but what I saw on Sunday is a Browns team that pretty much just quit on that team because their quarterback is just absolute garbage now.
Yeah, the calls for Jameis Winston are real. I don't think that's going to happen, and I think the second firing that is a mistake that's going to take place is Kevin Stefanski.
Very.
More than happy to take him here in Jacksonville.
Then you have the Eagles at home, which again, Eagles team that's been kind of weird this year. Still kind of a little bit of a,
their conduct, to your point, and by the way, I love your support of the power vacuum theory here that I loosed and birthed here on your show. What can I say except you're welcome?
Mm-hmm.
Their struggles are certainly a thing. I think the struggles with Sirianni are real. I know that our two favorite Eagles fans, and Matt Muehlheisen and Sean the Evil Twin, think that there's hope still, or that it's not as urgent with him as we might think. Granted, there's a lot more to it than a press conference that makes me believe that, but I'll put it this way. You said the next three.
That's 4.
Raiders
beat a 4.
Okay, so I'll put it this way. Giants, Browns, Bengals.
No, Eagles and Raiders.
Check that. Eagles and Raiders. That's not a bad stretch. Yeah.
They got the worst. It goes 3-1 is the worst they can do this stretch.
And yeah, I said earlier that they were swept by the Ravens. It's not accurate.
I know.
I was thinking of the Chiefs.
Right.
But long and the short, into November with a possible rematch to the Ravens to gain it back is huge. It was the Steelers they lost to. That was they think of.
No, did the Steelers yet? They did? No, they haven't played me yet. Actually, I think they played me yet.
Play the Steelers? Who the heck?
No. They lost to.
Let's get the Bengals because I know they lost
Patriots.
Commanders.
Chiefs.
Yeah, the
Commanders. And then this week it's the Ravens.
Okay, so it was the Chiefs that got screwed up there. Okay.
Yeah.
Hot mess. What can I say?
If I leave November, if I wake up November 4th and I'm 4-5 in the AFC that's not defined right now outside of KC, I'm feeling pretty good.
That's signs of life. Yeah, you're not wrong. I don't know about feeling good, but there's signs of life. The patient is going to be prepped for surgery.
Because the bar, like we talked about last week, the bar being lower in the NFC in terms of like playoff teams and contenders and whatnot.
Right.
I think that almost applies to the AFC as well too, because
I'm not there yet.
In a sense, this is why I'm there. In a sense, is that you have your locks. The Chiefs are the lock of the West, no matter what. Okay. I think after this week, the Texans, which I'll touch on in a second, though, they had the defining win this week against Buffalo Bills at home. Granted, it was a game that was a tooth and nail all the way throughout, but, you know, they had a defining win this year. So I think I'm ready to get the Texans to the South. The North is up in the air. The Steelers let that division
the North still may very well send 3 teams.
Right. And now with Baltimore now gaining ground again, that's now up in the air. And then the AFC East is another division that's up in the air. So the wild card situation is wide open right now in the AFC. The wild card is wide open. Buffalo, Jets, Bills, Jets, Steelers, Bengals. I'll put them in there still. I want to say Ravens / Steelers, you know. And then that's it, really. AFC South. I mean, not the Jags, not the Titans, not the
and I think there's too many teams that have disappointed for
Chargers
to say it as emphatically as I did before that the AFC is tough. The bottom is going to have its competition, right?
Right.
The Jags, no one expected to make the playoffs. I have them in there because I saw a path to victory, and then I realized how bad the offensive line really was.
Right.
I knew they were going to struggle. I didn't think it would be like this, but I digress. The Colts are struggling more than a lot of people thought they would for exactly the reasons I said they would. Who's another? The Bills are struggling in a way that I tried to tell you people, but you wouldn't listen. Mm-hmm. The Dolphins being pulled out there. I was big on the Dolphins, and then Tua got hurt, and that completely threw a lot of people off.
But I think that win against New England was huge because with the Jets coming down to earth again and Buffalo coming down to earth recently, if you can stay within the game before Tua comes back, that can make things.
EJ, no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
No chance.
No.
Okay. So let me ask you this question then.
The Patriots is in title only. They have to give it to somebody, and they both happen to be in the same division.
So I ask this question then. We just mapped out the AFC now through 5 weeks. Okay. Percentage chance that the Bengals make the playoffs?
Yeah, 25.
Because I'm gonna go higher. I'm gonna be at 40. Fuck it, 50% chance still.
So you're doing that based on feelings and not on facts.
Well, it's on feelings and the fact that
appreciating the size of the hole from which they are climbing out, and they still have 3 more divisional games. No, 4 more, right? Yeah.
But it's not like they're like this team playing really bad football. They're playing bad football on one side of the ball.
And that's not to lose the fucking game, EJ. That's the point.
Can they fix that to at least could they patchwork that for at least 2 months while the offense continues to score 3+ points a game?
I don't think so.
I'm still gonna go 50% because I've seen this team start slow at this and gain ground. And what's giving me more look, if the AFC was a little more defined in that way, where you have more teams running away with it, I would say lower. But no one's running away with it right now. Denver's 3-2 right now. Do you believe in that long term? Like, it's a cute story, but
and again, this is schedule dependent, and I don't have the Broncos making. I had the Broncos winning 6 or 7 games.
I did too, also, but that's
so they're on track for that. I don't see what the struggle is here. And by the way, playing that's the Raiders for those who don't making fun of Chris.
Right, the Raiders.
Yeah, I think Bo Nix don't nix Bo for the coming game. I think he continues the streak. So.
Maybe, but I just think that because of that offense and that quarterback and what the weapons they
have. And offense is playing better than you thought.
Well, much better. They're playing phenomenal. Like
they're scoring. Is evolving at about the rate the Bo Nix stands told us, and the defense is playing as great as Bronco fans promised.
Right.
Now, again, to your point, they're doing it to inferior competition, but guess what? Other than Patrick LaVon Mahomes II, that's what the hell they have in the AFC West, period. Let's move. You know,
like I said, I'm not ready to sell my Bengal stock just yet, but maybe another 4-week sample. They lose 2 games.
If we were talking about actual stocks, I would ring the hell out of the register now because I don't see growth in the stock in question, and it only looks like decline. I'm telling you, I think the Bengals have peaked. You sell that now.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you another question here related to the game, though, because they lost to the Ravens, and that was a phenomenal game. So far, game of the year right now is that Bengals-Ravens game. Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this, actually, and I know I laid out the question on our chat on Sunday night, but I want to talk to you about this on record.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this. Derrick Henry, top 10 running back all time?
Yeah, you know, I wish I had more time to study this because I've actually been running the black and gold banneret while the founder, Jeff Sharon, is on a cruise. So I have not had disposable time to do the research as yet. But I mean, when you go running backs, the conversation should, in my opinion, start with Jim Brown. It doesn't because people are stupid, but it starts with Jim Brown, right? So it's Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton.
Your locks.
All in there, right? Do you put Emmett? Okay.
Yeah, you do.
Is Derrick Henry better than Emmett?
There's a conversation for that because of the fact that Emmett, as we said, Emmett's top 5 all time, but he's overrated, if that makes any sense to you.
Well, I'm not going to say overrated, but what is unaccounted for, and by the way, Emmett gets extra points for carrying a garbage ass quarterback that is overrated the hell and back in the form of Troy.
Okay.
I said it. Okay. And don't even get me started on Starbuck. Okay. Anyways, deal with it, Cowboys fans. Still not the most overrated Hall of Famer of all time. That's Joe Namath. Anyways.
Yeah. I said what I said.
I said what I said. Like, would you, let's just go with Titans running backs to start with, right? Would you take Derrick Henry over Eddie George?
At this point, yes.
Okay. But your hesitation tells me there's a conversation to be had. And by the way, there's nothing out there that says Derrick Henry won't defy age and continue to be great. Obviously, you have him ahead of CJ2K, you know, some of the other big running backs with the Titans or Oilers. You know, is he better than Earl Campbell? That's a tough sell.
I'll still say no because Earl Campbell is probably in the top 10 also.
Okay, so you know, but as you see, it becomes it's closer than I thought it would be when I first read it in the notes. But with the book still being written, it's hard for me to kind of say it with definition, right? This would be up there with when Steve Smith was a Raven. Get the stats out of here, because if you're doing stats, that actually hurts Derrick Henry, in my opinion.
No, but I'm gonna lay this out for you. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna lay this out real quick. So Derrick Henry right now.
I don't mean literally take the stats down. You may want to zoom in if you're expecting somebody to see that.
Yeah, do it right now. That's right. No.
But I while you're setting that up, I liken this to trying to ask if Steve Smith is a top 10 receiver while he was with the Ravens, because of the body of work that he had. But then there's all the names in front of him you got to get rid of. But go ahead.
So right now, Derrick Henry currently right now is 31st all-time in rushing. He just passed 10,000 yards this weekend. He just passed 10,000 yards. Congrats to him, by the way, this past weekend. Okay, here's the thing. And watching Derrick Henry the last this year alone with Baltimore, he looks like a rejuvenated guy. Like that run against Buffalo last week, the 87-yard run.
No, he's not rejuvenated. He's just being asked to do less.
Right.
Which is fine, by the way.
So he crossed 10,000. He's 31st. But if you look at between 30 and 23, he'll probably pass. He's on pace to passing these guys this year alone.
Let's ask this question. Are we expecting Derrick Henry to break 11th thou?
At this point, yes.
Okay, so he's going to get into the top 20 pretty convincingly and start getting into Corey Dillon territory.
Right. If he can rush for close to 1,000 yards for the next 2 to 3 years, he gets into the 12,000, 13,000 conversation, which now gets into the top 12 to 10 conversation.
Well, okay.
Then because of a contextual argument. Then
for the podcasters that don't see the video here, or the Thought Podcast audience, the only real safe way to get top 10 is 13,000. All right,
of course, yeah. Eric Dickerson is the first one on that list.
Right. But here's the thing. According to this sheet, and granted it's because he played fewer games, but according to this sheet, Jim Brown is only 11th? Nah, son. Yardage does not necessarily
correct
make a top 10 quarterback, right? You know,
right.
But like, for example, I would take Derrick Henry over Curtis Martin
easily
on durability alone. Would I take Derrick Henry over the bust, Jerome Bettis?
Yes.
No, I wouldn't, because Bettis is far more versatile. Bettis at age, a billion ended up taking over being the full-time back when I think it was Fast Willie Parker got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very competent in catching passes and all that stuff. Derrick Henry, he's not a liability, but he's not a receiver to the same extent. And both guys, Bettis and Derrick Henry, were essential to their offenses at some point in time. I won't argue that at all, but I would take Bettis. That's real close though. I would certainly take him ahead of Tony Dorsett, no question. I would take him ahead of Eric Dickerson, who's famous. I'm not saying he's a bad running back. I'm saying he's mostly famous for a single particular season that he
84,
had.
right? 84.
Yeah. Which again, there's nothing wrong with giving a dude credit for that, but I would not put Eric Dickerson in the top 10 now.
Yeah, top 10 now is a little harder to sell because the sample size is still smaller. But I think the sample size, it grows, and at this rate, and playing in Baltimore, I think is going to help his case too. Also, he has more help now for once.
Well, and I think the original, would you, if you put Derrick Henry as a top 10, having to carry a bad team for so long and all that, you have to do the same for Steven Jackson.
Yeah, there are guys in the top 20 that you'd be surprised. Corey Dillon's in here. Steven Jackson said
Corey Dillon is an underappreciated.
No, he is. But you wouldn't think that's not a name you would bring up unless like you were really going to a deep dive of running backs. You know what I'm saying? So Derrick Henry is
tool. You wouldn't bring up Corey Dillon, but if you're a student,
I like Corey Dillon, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Like OJ's top 10 all the time, but he's number 21 rushing. I put him top 10 though all the time. OJ,
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't? Okay.
I would.
Okay. But yeah, so we'll see. But I think it's definitely an argument. I will still say no. Look at these names here, but I think by the end of next year, we can have a different conversation. There's guys in between 10 and 22 that are like I would take Derrick Henry over at this point.
Yeah, well, and as we mentioned with Dickerson and a couple of guys in there that we did.
Yeah, so there's just that. All right, what else here we're gonna talk about here? We're on the docket. Did the Cowboys say their season on Sunday night?
I think it's the delaying of the inevitable. And I will give credit for the Cowboys standing in after that amazing hit the Steelers made on the goal line. Mm-hmm. Other teams and even other versions of the Cowboys would have folded. The fact that they still found a way, I thought was impressive. I also thought it was a ridiculously silly play call to not have somebody out there. Well, no, let's be fair. Somebody was out there. They just got there late. But yeah, no, listen, credit to the Cowboys for staying in it. I think that was more about the Steelers, though, needing a quarterback than it was about the Cowboys coming back.
You think it's time for the Steelers to get off of the Justin Fields train?
I can't answer that. I'm not in practices.
Okay. Cowboys schedule going forward. Next 4 games. Detroit at home. Niners on the road. Falcons on the road. And Eagles at home.
Picture this. You just got beaten about by the Steelers in a hard-fought game. Sure, you won the dub. Your reward? Going against Man Campbell and then Fred Warner in the 49ers.
Let me extend it 2 more games actually now.
Yeah.
Texans at home. And then Commanders on the road. No longer is a game anymore for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
That's the next 6 games.
Right. Yeah, no, the Red Tails is Commanders is going to be a tough game this year. And that'll be when we begin to test the theory.
But again, the NFC also, the other conference teams are running away with it again also too. So if you go 3-3 here, that puts you at 6-5.
Right.
That's not terrible to be in at this point. I told Big Jim, shout out to Big Jim, of course, Huddle Up podcast. Thank you. That will they cross 10 wins like they've had last couple of years? Probably not. But because the rest of the division is
preseason, but who the hell knows?
But because the rest of the conference has come down a little bit, come to earth now a little bit, it may not matter. They may still get in the playoffs as a result of that.
Them at 10 wins is because they're in the NFC, correct?
Right. So they may not really matter in the end. But that's this game stretch though is pretty sick though. These are all teams with winning records. Well, Eagles not, but Eagles are better than the record. I mean, on paper anyway.
Allegedly,
Falcons are 3-2 right now, and they're starting to play a little better football. So, yeah, that's a tough stretch, man. That's why that game was a must win for the Cowboys.
Stop it.
If they lost to the Steelers, they've been 2-3 with that stretch coming up.
Stop
it. You're not feeling good about that.
Stop it. It's not a must win. Just you don't know what that means, buddy.
All right, so we worry about the Niners though. Your Niners.
Mathematically, yeah. And worried in what sense? Do I think they're going to get back to the Super Bowl to lose to the Chiefs again? No. I never thought that in the first place, though.
Let's start here first. Will they win the division?
Can't rule it out, can you? I still think
I'm gonna say yes. Still, I don't care. I mean, the only team we're in Seattle. That's it. And Seattle's not. I told you, frauds.
You don't take the Cardinals seriously?
No, stop it. Stop it. By the way, am I the only one that chuckles every time I see Aaron? I feel bad saying this though. Am I the only one that chuckles every time I see Kyler Murray running?
Oh, do you hear like?
Yeah, exactly. He's like an old child.
Is that terrible? Yes. Is it also accurate? Yes.
Yes. I'm more about the Niners in terms of the injuries.
Of course.
Than that, but in terms of like getting to the playoffs, they're fine.
Yeah, I mean, for now, well, even 1 week Trent Williams was limited too, which was, of course, always scary. But so, that's a factor. But no, I feel like what's the best way to put it? I feel like there's still plenty of life left in them. I'm more concerned about them blowing leads than anything else, and that's what I'll say.
This Thursday night football is a huge game. Seattle and San Francisco. Is that in Seattle?
I think it is. I forget.
In any case, though, that's still a huge game because that can flip the division on its head.
Huge game. Absolutely huge.
It's in Seattle.
It is in Seattle. I was just about to.
Yeah. I mean, huge game. I don't blame the Seahawks. I don't blame them at all. No. That's why San Fran has a bigger margin of error. And again, they've started slow in the last 2-3 years. So what we're seeing here is nothing new. And you'll see my rankings tonight and reflect on that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to think about trust. You got to think about history. Now, obviously, the injuries are the only thing I'm worried about. But long term, if I'm getting back the guys that need to get back in the fold by the end of this month, in that division, I'm good. And another thing to also do, they don't need home field advantage. This is the one team in the NFC does not need home field advantage. They can win anywhere.
Because the way they play travels well, right? So
exactly. You know my lines. There you go. See.
No, in this case, I don't think they're necessarily wrong, but
right. So yeah, I mentioned earlier on top of the show, top of the segment that Texans got their signature win this year. Like they were groggy at 3-1 coming to shoot, and then they won against Buffalo, against a quality team. We still consider Buffalo a quality team now, right? We were 2 weeks ago.
Well,
you change on that.
It comes with some asterisk. First of all, credit to CJ Stroud for even giving his kicker a shot, and credit to the offense for doing that. And obviously, an excellent kick. What was it? A 50? Call it 53-yarder, I think it was. I could be wrong. But great effort by the Texans, taking nothing from them. Shouts to my guys V and Leo of the Texans 22 podcast. But
wait, you didn't get my ding.
I guess you know what? I'll bell them. They deserve it. They're cool. There you go. I was on the fence. You knocked me over. I'll take it.
Sorry, buddy. You were fence sitting.
Right then, no, I absolutely was right then. I'll admit it. Listen, I'm not above the law. You're the idiot that keeps thinking he doesn't fence it. But anyways,
I don't fence it. I just told you what it said.
You don't fence it. You use the fence post to make an adult video.
Okay, can I say I fence?
Got him.
Can I say a fence squat?
You can.
Okay.
Yes, you can use the term
fence squat. Fence squatting. Continue.
I'm sure you do that while you watch wrestling too. Anyways,
guilty.
Wow. So What the hell was the question again?
It's what the Texans and their signature win.
Oh, the signature. Yeah, I mean, it's their signature win they have so far, but I think there's some controversy around it in that, in the way that Josh Allen's injury and concussion was handled. And that's not that any of that is the Texans' fault, but Buffalo fans and analysts who question the Texans' discipline, because there's plenty of reason to do so, right? Will point to the concussion altering the course of the game. 9 for 30 was Josh Allen's stat line, and they tried to say it was his ankle. Interesting.
Yeah, that was a worse situation.
I haven't watched enough video to confirm my own opinion on it, but I have heard enough people who I trust that know more about playing quarterback than I do comment on that. And the consistency is that was completely mishandled once he got hurt. And yeah, but is it their signature win for the moment? Sure. I think you're kind of shortchanging what the Texans might eventually be. You know, when you say,
is what?
If you say that that's the Texans' signature win, what I hear you taking off the table, though albeit probably unintentionally, is when you say signature win, you're telling me that that's their best win of the year. There's no way they can go to Arrowhead and beat Patrick LaVon Mahomes II. There's no way that they could beat the Ravens at home in an important Christmas football game. And you're telling me also that you don't believe they'll make a playoff victory as well. So
no, I won't go that far. I think, you know, my concern is more so the fact that they were 3-1 and they were 3-1 into this game, but we all acknowledge that there's something was not like the 3-1, and then winning the games need to win, but it wasn't stop points.
Basically, an entire football field's worth of penalty yardage every game.
That too, also. I just think that they haven't looked like the team that I think we all predicted they'd be.
Yes, and that's why. Well, that and Joe Mixon's hurt.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, big win for against Buffalo. You got to take that. Deshaun Watson. Is it time to bench him?
I think so. I don't think it'll happen though. And when it doesn't happen, it'll lead to probably, like I said earlier, the second worst decision out there in firing Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland.
They got to play him because money is the reason why you got to play him and pay him.
What you're doing, instead of paying him to play, you need to look at it as I'm a stupid franchise tax, and sit him and then start to try to heal the wounds and see what you got with Jameis Winston. Who knows? Maybe Jameis does well, and you could turn him into stock to draft for some other picks to get something to surround Jameis with. That's the best I could come up with, really.
This is a bad situation, getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, and the thing is, you'll see a throw here and there, a random throw, like, oh, that's the old Deshaun, and then like the rest of the trimmings around it is like this bad.
Yeah,
it's tragic, actually.
Well, it's more tragic for his victims. I'll put it that way.
True. Well, yeah, right. No, exactly.
I'm not saying to call you out. I'm just
right. It's just I don't know what happened. Something short-circuited. Something short-circuited.
He couldn't handle being the villain was always where I said. I was worried. And you remember this.
He said last week.
Not just last week. I said this shit 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Well, after I saw it in person at Everbank Stadium in the Browns-Jags preseason game.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. No, I totally I'm with you on that. Has Caleb Williams turned the corner? Bears quarterback, rookie. Finally, best game was young career so far.
I think he needed an opportunity to get off the ground. Yeah, turn the corner is a little strong, but yeah, he's trending in the right direction. All of the rookie quarterback starters won this past Sunday, so we're it was annoying seeing the season. Oh, that's good. It's always bad quarterback play. Quarterback plays bad quarterback play. Quarterback plays bad to start the season ain't because the quarterbacks. It's because you aren't hitting in practices and camp anymore, and your O-linemen aren't ready to perform and protect.
Correct. 20 and 20.
Talk about that.
Yeah, 20 and 29, 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 126 QB rating.
We live in a world where Kirk Cousins threw for 500 yards.
He can do that once in a while, though.
500? I know it was in an overtime game, but no, he cannot once in a while throw for 500 yards. If I say to you, in Earnest Christian, hey, a quarterback threw 500 yards, you are not guessing Kirk Cousins, and don't you lie and say you would. You'd say
he could do it once a blue moon, but I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is a top tier quarterback anymore at this point.
That's not what I said to you.
Okay,
I had said, hey, a quarterback threw for 500 yards. You would not have picked Kirk Cousins. You would probably pick the team that's playing against the Panthers. Or pick Lamar Demetrius Jackson playing against the Bengals defense. One of the two.
And that's not bad. The Bengals defense are, if he could do that. Oof.
At any rate.
Yeah. Nice segue too, because NFC South. You got two teams right now over 500. More than I thought it would be at this point in the year, honestly. Mm-hmm. Saints team that was 2-0, now lost 3 in a row. I was at frauds. I said it from even 2-0. I was a believer yet. I want to see more. And
with
clearly,
with whom do you not believe?
The Saints. The
Oh,
Saints.
got you. Yeah.
Remember they were 2-0, 90 points, 91 points first 2 weeks. Oh, Saints top 10.
No, we were both shouting that. I'm so used to hearing the word fraud associated with Atlanta. You meant pretender was what we literally
right.
said. Yeah.
But just maybe the NFC South is better than we thought they were. Somewhat.
So the answer,
you got 3 teams right now in the mix in the playoffs. Okay.
The answer to that question is no, because they were ass last year. Let's not dance with that. They were bad last year. They were terrible last year. Okay. This is the power of getting rid of Desmond Ridder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. This is the power of a team moving past Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
Those were the things that made this division immediately more viable, right? But Kyle, there's 4 teams in the division. Yeah, but a division shines more when more than one team is fighting to win that beast. And by the way, there's an element of David Carr and the Saints coming out stronger than they did last year. That's a thing that happened. You have to give them credit.
Yeah.
The Panthers, well, okay, they needed the red rifle to win a game, but yeah, the Panthers still drag it down. Let's not get stupid. The Saints are starting out a little better last year than they did. I don't know. I haven't done their schedule side by side, so I don't know if that's the cause of that.
Right.
But the main reason you're getting the impression you're getting is because they went from garbage doesn't belong in the NFL, like I told people years ago, to he's bad in prime time unless he's throwing for 500 yards on a Thursday night.
What Mike B says, perk thuggins.
Yeah, that was that was absolutely crazy, man.
Yeah, that was a crazy. No,
excellent game to watch though. These people, these nights are terrible. Shut up.
I don't feel any worse about the Bucs coming out of that game, honestly.
Nor can you. Listen, that's the reality. Is those two are going to slug it out. I have that division being won by an 11-win Falcon team, but only winning by 1 game against a 10-win Bucs team. So
yeah, and that's actually a good point there, because I want. Well, we'll get in a second. No, we're good to know. It's good. So we had our own preseason predictions.
Yep.
Before you started, in terms of like who's winning the division, who's winning the wild card, this and that. Come on, revisit that real quick with you. And I'll show mine now. So NFC first. What were your 17 playoff lineup? You remember what it was?
I can get to it quickly. Why don't you start with yours?
So I had Eagles, Lions, Falcons, Niners as my division winners. All right. And then my wild cards were Cowboys, Packers, and Bears.
I had Lions, Niners, Falcons, Eagles, which the one I have the biggest question about right now is the Eagles winning the division, right?
Yeah.
I'm still solid on my top 4. 5 is the Packers. I know you're still feeling that.
Yep. Right.
The Cowboys at 6, which maybe, right? And the Bucs at 7 on a technicality, based on tie breaks. They're a 10-win team that apparently I see a bunch of improvement in the NFC, because I have a 10-win team as the 7th seed.
Would you change anything in your 7 now?
Today, no.
Based on what we've seen in 5 weeks?
Today, no. Because like I said, and Kyle, what about the power vacuum theory? You guys are right to ask that question, But as I said, and I've kept saying and will keep saying to Earnest Christian, I'm not going to confirm that until the Red Tails beat either or both the Falcons or Eagles.
Okay. So for me, I'm still sticking my Eagles in the East still.
Actually, wait, hold on. A glaring thing I have to change in the room.
What's that?
I do have to change out one NFC team, probably the Cowboys, for the Vikings. They're just on too good a trajectory.
Right. So you insert Vikings to make the playoffs. Probably division winner at this point.
No, I don't have that.
You think they'll still swap? Okay. All right. So with me, I'll keep the Eagles in the East still. For now, even though things are weird, we'll see what happens next couple weeks. In North, I had the Lions. I'm going to still keep that for now. In the South, I'm going to change my pick from the Falcons to the Bucks, even though what we saw on Thursday night. I'm going to still take the Bucks to win that. I trust them more.
No, I get it. Hubba, blah, blah. But
yeah,
right. The timing's nuts.
Right. And then the Niners still win the South in the West. I'm not sold on the Seahawks, to close the deal there. No, I had wild card. I had Cowboys, Packers, and Bears. Bears are gone. Bears are out. Packers stay. Packers want to stay.
Yeah.
That Cowboys schedule has gotten me like really worried about it. The next 6 weeks are going to be brutal.
Yeah.
If they can go 3-3, I actually feel better about their chances going forward.
Sure.
I just don't know if they'll go 3-3, to be honest with you, with no running game. And honestly, that's the game the Steelers lost. The Cowboys didn't win that game. Dak had a horrible game. I don't give a fuck what the number said. The Dak was not good.
He finished strong, and that's
strong. Right. That's all that matters. But in the end, those 6 teams you play in the next couple weeks ain't gonna beat the Steelers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm leaning to take out the Cowboys also too. So take out Cowboys, take out Bears. Packers, yes, wild card. Minnesota, yes, wild card. And then I'm gonna go Commanders.
You're gonna push the button already. Okay.
Yeah, I am right now. Based on what I've seen so far through 5 weeks.
What I still need to see is for them to win divisional games, and it hasn't happened yet.
The Commanders?
Yeah.
I feel that. But I with the Commanders, I like what I'm seeing now. I like what I'm seeing. This team is gelling.
They're tall enough to ride the ride. They need to purchase the ticket to the carnival. That's what I'm saying. There's an analogy for you. How about that? You know what? That's it. Yeah, damn right. That's how I'm putting it.
Right. Even their D's play a little better recent weeks.
Yeah, you would know about D playing better, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I know. All right, AFC. What was your AFC? Your initial predictions for the AFC?
Ravens, Chiefs, Dolphins. Boy, my AFC is complete ass.
Oh God, yeah.
Ravens, Chiefs, Dolphins, Texans, Bengals, Jags, Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
God, that's
what would you change?
Well, immediately, Chiefs at 1 now, I think. I'm sorry, Pat. My bad, Travis. My bad, Andy. My bad, guys. My bad. My bad, Chris Jones.
How dare you?
How dare you? Thanks, Greta. Chiefs.
Yeah.
I'm still keeping the Ravens at 2. The Dolphins fall off. I mean, 2 a disappearance thing. You can't recover from that. The Bengals at 5. Woo. I mean, I feel compelled to leave them in at this point. Texans will move up to the 3 spot. I'm confident there. I'm glad I don't have the Jets in contention because I don't have to make that a change. Ha ha! I think with some of these removals though, the Bills certainly sneak in.
Mm-hmm.
Gracious, that's interesting. So I'm going to keep the Bengals in there because of hubba money. Who do you trust?
See, you feel me?
I told you before. I said 25%. That doesn't mean I don't think it's going to happen.
Right.
The Colts, they just can't stay healthy enough.
Yeah. Joe Flacco. Ooh,
bro.
You were there,
bro. I wasn't there.
You didn't go to the game?
Travis D. Holmes was there.
Oh, okay.
I need to remind you of what happened apparently off air because you've forgotten something. But
okay.
Travis D. Holmes of Big Cat Country was there, and we talked about it. Listen, not only did we talk about it on the Duval Dive last Wednesday, I also wrote about it on my keys to the game for the Jacksonville Jaguars on Fans First Sports Network. So I knew that Flacco would tear up that decimated secondary. But you can't rule out the Bills and Chargers finding a way, or even the Broncos finding their way in.
Can rule it out all. So I had AFC division winners. I had Dolphins in the East, Ravens in the North.
God, you had them one.
Texans in the South, Chiefs in the West. And
you didn't have number 1 seed. You just had them winning that division.
Right. And my 3 wild cards I had were Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets. No, it gets worse. And the Browns.
Oh yeah, right. Super Bowl Browns. Woo!
This is easy, obviously. Ravens stay. Ravens gonna stay. They're on their way up now. Ravens stay, Chiefs stay, Texans stay. Dolphins are out. I'll put Buffalo in that spot. I trust Buffalo moving forward over the Jets at this point.
Yeah.
Wild card is gonna be a fucking mess.
Yeah. I know. You see, you want to exclude those AFC West teams, but they're going to sneak.
I'm not going to. No, give me the Chargers. Give me the Chargers. As long as Herbert's healthy, yes. Because I believe Jim Harbaugh, as they get into the November, December, what they do, as you said, San Francisco travels well, this and that. They are now a balanced team now.
But can they stay healthy enough to maintain?
That's the question.
That's why if I were to pick one of the two right now, I would technically pick the Broncos. And maybe how I feel about Jim Harbaugh.
But I'm gonna go with the assumption to stay healthy. So give me the Chargers as a wild card. Browns are out, obviously. You know what? I'm going to stay with the God. To me, it's between the Jets and the Steelers. Honestly.
Yeah, no, I can get why you're hesitating there. It's stupid, but I get it.
I'm gonna stay with the Jets. Let's see if this coaching move does anything to galvanize that team. We'll see.
I think this will expose. The Jets used to be a band in the '80s alongside of another singer, Janet Jackson, and I think the Jets will be exposed as Janet Jackson was.
Right, and it can go either way. But because AFC is so wonky, give me the Jets still to hold on to that, and then I'm gonna stick the Bengals. Again.
I did it too. Who can give you a hard time?
Will I go 10 toes down on the Jets and Bengals at this point where we're at now?
Certainly.
I may go 8 toes or 7 toes, not 10.
Listen, because 10 toes are still in the NFC with the Packers.
I'm 10 toes down on that one.
10 green toes, baby.
10 green toes. 10 green cheesy ass toes.
If you didn't say it, I was going to eventually.
Hey man, it's okay. I did, so you don't have to. There you go. Yeah, so that's where I'm at now with my prediction now. Now, obviously, we could change this. We do our locks later in the year, but we'll get that probably halfway through the year.
I'm so glad we didn't do those in week 2.
I don't want to piss you off.
Right. That's certainly something you don't.
I might do it next week. You never know.
Anyways,
this fun. This is a lot of fun. Give me your MVP leaderboard right now. Currently, if you have an order going, put an order. Top 3 guys in MVP right now. What should be the conversation?
What should be the conversation? Wording is important. What should be, or what do I think will be?
What should be?
Lamar Demetrius Jackson. Jaden Daniels. Chris Jones.
I like the Chris Jones pick. I like that. Lamar came out of nowhere again, I guess, because Josh Allen was on the pub 2 weeks ago. No, unless you had Lamar before then.
I don't know what you mean, the shit out of nowhere. I'm on record with this already on this show, matter of fact.
No, I'm saying, well, you still Lamar MVP even when they were 0-2?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay. Because I agree with Lamar. What about Derrick Henry?
Derrick Henry will steal votes, but I'm not.
That's why I don't think Lamar will win it, because I think he'll steal votes.
And that's fair. I think the perception of Derrick Henry will be that he is an augmentation to Lamar. He's not the driving force
because of what they do.
What they do. They smile in your face. Sorry.
I like the Jane Daniels pick also too. I would have said Josh Allen till this week. This week,
if they make an actual playoff run, I will be open to take comments regarding Joseph Burrow. Yes, but they have to be
right.
Would have made the playoffs for me to secure my.
And the same applies to Saquon Barkley for me, because Saquon has been everything for the Eagles at this point.
I would hear the argument.
I'm just saying, Saquon Barkley would be the other one I had there. Obviously, we'll see how they come out this bye. But I agree with Lamar right now. I've had to pick a leader right now is Lamar. That game against Cincinnati, wow. Josh Allen playing shit too also on Sunday to get himself off the board. 9 for 30. Wow.
Well,
ugh.
Anyways,
no good for me. So yeah, that's that. Any other NFL things before we get to college?
The NFL this season is why I don't bet. In case anybody's wondering,
for inside baseball for you, Kyle. I haven't gambled in 2 weeks for that reason.
I don't blame you.
I have not gambled 2 weeks for that reason. Let me stay.
Hey, I've seen your past 2 weeks on picks and Huddle Up.
Yeah. I had to back up. I had to back a little bit. Anyway, college football time. Let's get to top 25 AP, the latest AP poll, and we had what we thought would have been a unassuming week. Remember? Oh, it's a unassuming week. Bullshit. I thought I was big shit saying my lock of the week was going to be that one top 15 team will go down. Boy was I low hanging fruit there. So anyway, Kyle, let's do it. Number 25, SMU.
What the hell are we doing here?
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? What have they actually done? They beat their old coach and got him fired. That's cute. This is not a top 25 football team in the damn nation. I bet I could pick a G5 team that could beat this team.
All right, down 14 spots, Michigan.
To whom did they lose again?
They lost to. Who lost this weekend? That's by 3 too. Also, let me right now. Give me 1 second.
I mean, we'll get into worse losses that happened this
Washington.
Week. Who?
Washington.
I mean, I get them getting clipped down. I think the part that's controversial is the fact that they're 2 losses and they're at 24, but I think they're leaving room for improvement should they bounce back later in the season once they actually get into other conference play.
By the way, this is one of the games I mentioned on Huddle Up last week that was in play for an upset, and it happened. All right, 23 up 1 spot, Illinois.
Why are they? See, now, granted, I'm gonna give the voters. I would say the committee, but then Jim would be all like, oh,
"That's true. That's true."
I know that's right. It's easier, but now I can't do it easier because Jim's an ass. Anyways, so the writers, I'll give them some slack because this was among the more chaotic weeks of the year. But there's 2 just outright ridiculous crimes against humanity that have taken place here. On this that I'm going to tell you, I know I can account for immediately. But go ahead.
All right, 22. Unchanged Pittsburgh.
Sure. It makes more sense than SMU. I'll put it that way.
All right, down 12 spots now. 21, Missouri. Wow, that's a lot of dropping.
In earnest though. See what I did there? Earnestly speaking, I'm not wounded by it. Like we here at Huddle Up Inc., right, have been curious of Mizzou and what they would do. Right? I think that's a safe statement.
I think it's the way they lost too also. 41-10. Come on.
It's the beatdown. The argument could be made in other weeks. I might have made it. Why are they in the top 25? Especially to an A&M team that I also believe is dramatically overrated, but that dramatic overratedness is working in the favor of Mizzou. I'll put it that way.
Okay. So check this out. We have the next three teams are tied for 18.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma first, up one spot.
So is this 18A, B, and C?
Correct.
No, it's not. Because
look at
count votes, and they might have the same amount of votes. That's how it works. If it's one dude, that's when the A, B, and C is bullshit.
That's when it's the votes are 459, 59. Yeah, dead even.
Because math.
Yeah. Anyway. So Oklahoma 8C.
See, the world wasn't ready for me to respond with that. Oklahoma does not belong in the top 25. I don't know what we're doing. But the thing is, they belong more than a lot of other people. So,
and they have a chance to justify it by beating Texas this week. So.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, 18B.
That's fine.
Up 5 spots, 18B, Indiana.
What the fuck are we doing here? Does anybody really think Indiana's this good? Actually,
the 6-0.
So the fuck what? Playing your mom's state?
I feel like this segment of the podcast every week is like your therapy session, like the vent. I swear.
In a lot of cases, like, because I purposely don't. I know a few things because you and Jim just have decided to like use our podcast, our group chat to like spoil the show and predict what I'm going to say. And like,
true.
If you happen to be 100% correct, I'm not going to tell you no. I think that's dishonest, But like I think what Indiana making it this high shows is just how top heavy the Big Ten is, because there's some overrated ass teams in that conference.
I agree. Oregon's one of them, but we'll get there in a second. All right, 18A. That's right. 18A, Kansas State.
Should be higher. I don't get them behind Boise State, frankly.
Nearly. Number 17, Boise State, up 4 spots.
I like that they're inside the top 20. I think that's good.
By the way, the boy, was it Genty his name, the running back?
Correct.
He's definitely Heisman candidate, I'll tell you that.
I don't think he'll get enough love as a G5 player.
Yeah. All right, up 2 spots now, 16, Utah.
It's a real tragedy from Utah's standpoint about Cam Rising dealing with injuries. But I like that the voters at large are keeping them in play to still be able to climb back up into the top 10 and even the top 5.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, up 10 spots, 15.
The sewer system I would need to install for the absolute shit that this is beyond reproach. What the entire fuck are we doing here?
Well, they beat Missouri. Pretty bad, too.
And
are you saying it should be higher, or is it too high?
I'm saying they have no business being in the top 15.
Damn.
You're flirting with me saying they should be out at the 25 altogether. But
oh wow.
Top 20-ish in this chaos, that's too much. If you're within the top 25, between 20 and 25, I could let that slide.
All right, up 3 spots, 14, BYU.
Yeah, they're still the pew, 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 pew. That's what I've come to call them. They're still cashing checks from that KSU victory. And I'm not mad at it, but them beating Kansas State, they're still cashing checks on that.
All right, unchanged at 13, LSU.
Them at 13 isn't so bad as at least 3 of the teams that are ahead of them being ahead of them.
And they play Ole Miss this week. Big game against Ole Miss on Saturday.
Huge game.
All right, we got 2-way tied at 11 here. 11B, Notre Dame.
As much as I'm going to be accused of being a Big 12 advocate, the only thing worse than Notre Dame at 11 is Iowa State at 11 at this point. Both these fucking teams have no business at 11.
Yep.
Notre Dame, again, should not even be considered a top 20 team.
Oh, no.
5. Who have they beaten? Precisely fucking nobody. They beat nobody with any prowess. They nearly lost to Louisville, and I don't care what a certain homer or set of homers we know say about anything else. This team, once again, has showed how they are just outright favored and filleted by voters in the committee on brand alone. Their football is ass, and it's just an absolute crime.
But they're 11A, though.
11, well, yeah, because I said they belong there more than Iowa State, so they're 11A. Yeah, exactly.
Right, so 11A, Iowa State up 5 spots.
Yeah, I don't need to say anything more than that. Honestly, today, off the top of your head, Iowa State plays Utah. Who you got?
I'll take Utah.
Iowa State plays KSU. Who you got?
Probably K-State.
Iowa State plays pew, 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 pew. Who you got?
Toss up.
Then why are they 11?
Yeah, I agree. All right, top 10. Here we go. Number 10, up 5 spots. Clemson making a trek back up to
absolutely stupid. They should be behind Notre Dame. Moving on.
Oh, wow. Up 3 spots. Number 9, Ole
How do you
Miss.
gain 5 spots by beating a team that has literally lost all their fucking games, EJ? What are we doing?
Yeah, 1 win against California. All right, number 8, down 4 spots, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, they must have just gotten that this past weekend. Awesome.
Yeah, Tennessee down 4 spots.
Yeah, no one saw that coming, didn't they?
Woo. No.
That could have been the worst upset of the week.
Probably. Not really. Number 7, down 6 spots. Bama.
You know, they're lucky as hell. It's only 6. Now, I'm glad the voters and company realize that Vanderbilt is not a G5 team. And Vanderbilt is playing better than they have in probably, 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that matter. This is why this is not the worst upset in college football. So other people with their propaganda and bullshit will say otherwise, and they're wrong, and doing everything they can to ruin the moment that is us enjoying Vandy upsetting Alabama. Yes, I'm talking about Big Jim Neese, Notre Dame Hoder, who should really consider being a baseball analyst and not a football analyst after saying that the Notre Dame loss to NIU isn't as bad as, or excuse me, yeah, is less bad than. I can't even comprehend it. It's such a stupid take by anyway.
All right, top 6, number 6, up 2 spots. The U.
I'm gonna do a spoiler here. The team at number 4 is currently taking the number 4 spot that should have Miami.
So they're too low, in other words.
Correct.
All right, number 5, unchanged, Georgia.
Georgia is it should switch spots with the team who is currently at 3, and the team who is currently at 3 is only at 3 because so many teams fell apart this past weekend. and
the team at 3 is just to make the team paying 3, paying 2 this week, and now handling itself out anyway. Number 4.
Well, you say that, but Oregon will lose to Ohio State, to spoil it a little bit. And what's going to happen is like Oregon will fall like 1 spot. Because they played the number 2 team. It's okay, you know.
I think it's gonna be a blowout. To be honest,
I truly hope so, Ernest Christian, because I just don't trust Oregon.
I hate Ohio State though too. That's the only thing. Anyway, number 4, up 3 spots. The fraud to Penn State.
I mean, sure.
That's how cute, right?
This will not last. You know,
this top 4 won't last at all. 3 Oregon, 3 spots. Other than Texas, maybe that's about it.
Do you mean in terms of them staying in those spots or those?
Yeah, this is going to shake up again this weekend.
I can't rule out Ohio State holding pat.
If anything, Ohio go number 1. If anything, so.
Listen, and then I know that Texas has a tougher schedule, inevitably. Duh.
Yeah,
but man, listen, Texas's 1 is the biggest no-brainer of all. If you got that wrong, you're the fucking problem.
So yeah, Oregon 3, Ohio State 2, and Texas 1. Obviously, Alabama's loss shook up a lot of his rankings, but so did Tennessee losing 2 also on top of that. My God, what a weekend in college football, huh? The unassumed weekend we thought would be unbelievable, but here we are, right? Here we are. Anyway, Kyle, plug away. I'll see you tonight. Huddle Up.
In honor, joy, and privilege to jump aboard. Of course, I'm Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as a student of the game. Check out my writings with the Black and Gold banneret covering UCF football, as well as Fans First Sports Network covering the Jacksonville Jaguars, and also the Orlando Magic. I'm officially listed as credentialed the Fans First Sports Network. That should be fun.
Like it.
Yes, more me opportunity of showing you how bad a basketball analyst you are when I continue to dunk on you.
Again, you're 7'5". God, jeez.
Of course, Duval Die podcast 7:30 Wednesday night. You will still see it because we're going to pre-record it to be safe from the storm. Student of the game already in the can, ready to go. 9:00 Wednesday night. And if things all go according to plan, who knows? I'm scheduled to be covering Cincinnati at the stadium at 3:30 at the Bounce House where UCF hosts Cincinnati. Yeah, so Night Shift Live if that happens with the post-game reaction. Honor, joy, and privilege. Until next time, everyone. Class dismissed.